Hey everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. Welcome to our live video series. And before we get going, there's someone from the Netherlands that just said hi, and they put in brackets it's from Europe. And I just want to say my mother was born in the Netherlands, so hello to you. All right, today we're going to talk about the Kia Soul, the 2022 Kia Souls, and we have here the LX model and the EX Plus model. And the premise today is going to be a little bit better explanation on why you may want to stretch and move up. And we'll get into that a little bit more detail, but I think sometimes people read spec sheets, they don't really understand what they're accepting or turning down, and I want to make sure that you choose a vehicle that is best for you. So here's how this works. This is a live video, and we do this every single weekday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And if you're not watching live with us and you just want to get to the content, feel free to skip ahead to the 3-minute mark of this video. If you are watching live with us, what we're going to do is we're going to show you, we're talking about some news and notes. We're going to show those who want to stick around and see how to join us live, how to do that, and we'll cover just a few other little things between now and then. If you're a regular with us, do me a favor, hit the like button right now, and we'll try to get as many likes as people on to start. And if you're not a regular with us, I hope I can earn that like as we move along. All right, let me just flip through right here. This is our YouTube page. You're probably familiar with it. You can see that when it's not doing a live video right now, you'll just see a normal video up here like it is there. If you refresh the page at exactly 2 o'clock Eastern time, which is what we just did right now, you'll see that the page with our slow internet is going well. This is why I'm not on that network. There we go. It will show you the live video there instead. So if we click onto that live video, you'll probably have to watch an ad. I should turn that sound down there. I'm gonna run a really quick ad ourselves. This is Brantford Kia's studio today. We're also representing Brantford Hyundai and Owen Sound Hyundai. If you're looking to buy a vehicle in Ontario, connect with me. There'll be a link in the description after this video of how to connect with me, and we'll treat you like family. They'll treat you like they would treat me. So there we go. All right, got a few more regulars jumping on. I'm just gonna skip the ad there, and still a little behind on likes. So I just wanna say to regulars, make sure you hit that like button if you're a regular, and if you're not, totally get it. All right, news and notes. Tomorrow, the Santa Fe PHEV. Obviously, our Sorento PHEV video was quite popular recently. So tomorrow we're gonna have the Hyundai counterpart. It just showed up, I think, either yesterday or today. So Santa Fe PHEV is coming out tomorrow. We'll have it here in the video bay, and we'll talk about that. So if you have questions about that vehicle or you just want to see it, make sure you tune in live, and you can ask your questions. And if you're not live, you can also join me, or you can not join us, but you can certainly talk to me through Instagram before the video. I always post what I'm doing for that day on Instagram. So if you happen to follow Instagram, you can follow me there, and you can get your question in for the live video so that when you watch it later, it'll be there for you. All right, 15 seconds to go. We're going to talk about these two cars here, and yeah, I think we'll just leave it right at that. So that's what's going on tomorrow. It's going to be a fun week still. I think got a lot of fun stuff planned, and yeah, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. All right. Hey everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. All right, so what we're gonna do today is take a look at the LX Soul, the Soul LX, both 2022 models. There have been some upgrades for 2022, which we're gonna talk about. But the premise of this video is talking about why you may wanna upgrade. And a lot of the time, I see people either accept or turn down options based on a title, and they really don't know how that's going to affect their ownership experience. So we're going to go through these vehicles in detail. We're going to spend about a half an hour on this video. After the 30-minute mark, if we're still going on, we're either taking your questions or we've gone off topic. So we're going to spend about 30 minutes, so grab a snack, grab a beverage, let's have some fun. All right, first things first, let's take a look at where we are in the vehicle. So again, LX model, EX Plus model. So let's just show you where that is in the Kia lineup. Let me just flip over here. LX is the entry-level model for the Soul. Not fully an entry-level vehicle, though. I think that's clear, or that's something we should point out. There is an EX model in between them that we don't have on film today, and an EX Plus. I do recommend the EX Plus if you can stretch for it, and that's where this video is sort of heading. I'm not saying that you should spend money you don't have, but if both of them are affordable, sometimes people are just, hey, I want to save that money for other things, and that might make sense. But I do recommend going to the EX Plus if you can afford it. We're going to talk about some of the reasons why I recommend that. And I'm not saying you have to take my advice, but certainly my opinion is there. One of the reasons is simply color choice. You can see we have a gravity gray here today, and there's a white and a black. Those 3 colors are the only 3 colors you can get the LX in. If you want a little bit more fancy colors, there's this is a terrible screen, but Lunar Orange, Neptune Blue, and over here, the Inferno Red are all colors you can only get on a higher trim line. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. If you do want a Soul in some of those funkier colors, you can do that. All right, we're gonna start here with this LX model. And one of the things I wanna show you, we are gonna head to lighting, because really quickly, This LX has different lighting. If you move one trim up, you get projector beam headlights. You move another trim up, you get LED headlights. So we're going to look at lighting in a minute later in this video. We're also going to compare some features and safety things that you can't see on video. But we're going to start by just jumping in and starting in the driver's seat, and then we're going to cover some of the exterior differences as well as rear seat and trunk, but that's going to be the same in both. Rear seat and trunk are very similar. So, all right, let's jump in here. One thing I really like is for an entry-level vehicle, this feels like a step up from other entry-level vehicles, and that's because it kind of is. This is not our base level Rio. It is a step up. It is the Soul, and the Soul can be really an alternative for an SUV or a compact car. One thing you have here is our new key fob. These are both keyed cars today. If you move one trim higher than that one, you can get a push button start as well. But right now they're keyed cars. It is a jackknife style key, so that key blade folds in. You got the new logo, and you have the buttons on the side, which I happen to like. We used to have buttons over here, and I think some people would accidentally hit them. Over here is sort of a better spot for them. That little hold button right there, it's not a powered trunk, but you can unlock just the trunk. I don't recommend using that because if you happen to drop your key in the car, you could lock your key in the car. So just keep that in mind. I always use the unlock button. It'll unlock the trunk and the doors, and then you don't have to ever worry about, if you drop that key, locking it in. All right, we're going to turn the key to the on position. We are indoors. So you get a few nice things in here. Nice little digital display. It's actually the same display basically in both cars. So you're going to see things like 46.2 liters per 100 kilometers. We're going to delete that right now because this car's been idling for a few things. But we can go down here. Tire pressure monitors are standard on this car, which is kind of nice. Lots of settings in here, and we'll ignore fuel efficiency again. And we'll go down. You can put a digital speedometer in there. So fairly basic dash, but still good information, good detail in there. And left side tach, right side speedometer, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, standard stuff. Moving over here, you do have an 8-inch touchscreen. So this used to be the large screen on the higher end Souls. 8 inches is quite large. And of course, in the past, it used to be Android Auto and Apple CarPlay where you had to be wired, but it is now a wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Hello.
You have a fan that wants to thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to put you on the internet, but nice to meet you. We have a fan in our video bay that just wanted to say hello to me, so I'll see you in a little bit. All right. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Someone's here just wanted to say hi to me, and unfortunately, live videos are really live. All right. There we go. So over here, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, it is wireless in this car. So even in the base model vehicle, it's wireless. Now, from a practical standpoint, and that's really what this video is about, practically speaking, wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is a pretty big deal because it kind of operates the same as if you had factory navigation in your base level car. You can use your Google Maps and your Apple Maps, which are the most up-to-date maps in the world, continuously updating, good traffic information, those kind of things. So you can use those wirelessly through your cell phone. Now, you do need a cell phone data plan. Most people have that. You don't need a whole lot of data for some of those mapping programs. And but then, of course, you also have things like your texting and other things right there wirelessly. So the same way your phone used to connect with just Bluetooth, it can now connect with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay wirelessly, which is a really big deal. Other things in here, not a whole lot different. The quiet mode is new. You can mute the speakers in the rear and put the front speakers to only volume level 7, or you can turn them up. And I guess if you had children in the back of the car, you could keep it quieter for them. I always like to say if you have teenagers in the back and they want to listen to their own music in their earbuds, you can turn off their rear speakers pretty simply with just a button there and allow them to listen to that. So that's kind of cool. We'll go back here. And a lot of the same type of stuff, normal setup stuff, not a whole lot to show you in here. Devices, displays, different things. One thing you can do is customize this button over here, and that can be like an instant launch of something. What I really like to do is use that button as a hard button to launch my Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So you can just set that up, so that's how that button works there. Will you be showing the turbo soon? I have a 2018 Soul Turbo, wondering if I should upgrade. In Canada, where we film, they never brought this generation of Kia Soul with a turbo model. So maybe if we go to the States and see it, but I won't have it here. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's why we haven't done it yet here. All right, so flipping around here, that's a big deal. Down here, manual climate controls, perfectly logical, normal things. You have a space to put your phone down here. Now, on this base model, this is just a plastic shelf. On the higher trims, you're gonna get a rubbery type feeling. And on the higher trim that we're gonna show you today, you're gonna have a wireless phone charger, which is kind of nice to have as well when you have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Down here, 2 12 volts and 1 USB. I feel like most cars should be the opposite, maybe 1 12 volt and 2 USBs, but that's the way it is on this model here. A lot of people are surprised to still see heated seats here, and you do have heated seats, which is kind of nice. Driver's seat and passenger seat are both heated. So that you can tap those. And then the drive modes on the sole, it's only got 2. It doesn't matter what trim level sole you get from us. It is a normal or sport mode. So we'll keep it in normal there for this person here. But overall, very nice car. No cruise control here, just the menu display. So you're going to see some buttons missing there. That's basically the cruise control. And again, over here, you do have your full audio and Bluetooth controls over here. A lot of people are surprised to see you have auto headlights here as well. So you do have the auto headlights, but not the auto high beams, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And you do have the remote, or not the remote start. The vehicle can stop itself, turn itself off at stoplights, which is pretty cool. So there we go. Okay, so we'll jump to the other car now, and we'll show you some differences as we do that. So, first thing I want to point out is just some exterior differences. There is no signal light here on this base model, and you have 16-inch wheels. Now, 16-inch wheels used to be an upgrade wheel over 15s. 15 used to be the large wheel, actually, when I started buying new cars. But 16-inch wheels here. One of the benefits on this base model is you do have the wheel covers, which means when you throw your winter tires on, you can throw those on the steel rims and keep the same look. If you throw winter tires on this car, you're going to have to either go to Steely's or you'll have to get some more expensive rims. But again, no light in the mirror. Signal lights are up here, which we'll show you later. Headlights are down there. In this one, you've got signal light in the mirror, 17-inch wheels. You can go to 18-inch wheels if you move up one trim line from here. So again, larger metal, so the wheel is larger, and the sidewall is a little bit smaller. Some people think that makes for a real big ride difference. I think in older cars, that used to be the case. In the older vehicles, more sidewall used to be a lot better ride. I don't think that's so much the case anymore. The way they've sorted out their suspension nowadays, you're not really using your tire sidewall for suspension. Out front, you're going to see a big difference here with full LED daytime running light, LED signals, and fog lights. We're going to get all those turned on later, but even the grille here, you do see an upgrade to this car. You have sort of these chrome little spots there that look like they're floating, whereas the other car just has a gray grille. So we're going to get to lighting in a second, but let's take a look inside now as we talk about just the upgrades. Just the upgrades right away. Different cloth and a sort of false leather side seating here that gives you a little bit of an upgrade. It looks pretty cool with the Soul emblem right there. And as we jump inside, you're going to see a few other little things down here. So again, we're going with upgrades only right now. Blind spot detection and lane keeping assist. Let's talk about lane keeping assist really quickly. Lane keeping assist can keep your vehicle centered in the lane. It looks at the lane markers, and it can keep it centered. On the Soul, the active lane centering kind of works a little bit like the current lane keeping. This one doesn't have the same thing as the Celtos, but it is a little bit more accurate. On the future vehicles, when you have lane keeping and when you have lane follow assist and lane keeping assist, then your lane keep assist is generally just bouncing you between the lane markers, while lane follow assist follows that lane. So we've got that going on right now. So again, just lane keep assist, but it will sort of keep you centered in the lane. Same key, same basic dash. You can see that coming alive here. We're going to show you just a couple more things in the dash here. If I can zoom in a little bit, there's your lane keeping menu in there as well. You've got your driver attention alert, so it can pay attention if you're paying attention, and if it senses that maybe you need a break, it'll tell you to take a break. Tire pressure monitors as well in there, and some driver assistance things. This is really the thing. Driver attention warning, we talked about that, some warning timing, warning volume, forward safety, so you have a forward, whoops, that's a little bit poor camera work, forward collision avoidance assist. It uses the same camera that it would use for lane keeping assist that looks out forward from the car, and it senses things in front of you. If there's a vehicle in front of you that stops, this car is capable of avoiding that collision. The blind spot detection over here is another nice safety feature. A lot of people realize that, of course, this light will turn on when that car, for instance, is in your blind spot. But what's really nice about that is when you throw this car in reverse, it uses the same hardware as you have for the lane keeping assist, and it will warn you if traffic is crossing your path. And that's a really nice thing to have, is if the traffic is crossing your path, it's the kind of thing that you can't always see, but the hardware on this car can see it. So you have with lane keeping assist, with blind spot detection, you have rear cross traffic alert, which is quite nice. Same stereo essentially in here exactly. So wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. Scrolling down, same climate controls down here. But this is that difference that we were talking about. You have a rubber pad here to put your phone on now. It's got a little lip over here as well. And you have the wireless charge pad. That lip is just to keep your phone centered when you're setting it down. And then, of course, you can wirelessly charge. And then in this one, you've got the proper mix, in my mind, of one 12-volt port, 2 USB ports in here. Both vehicles do have an automatic transmission. They're both the IVT transmissions, and they're both the 2-liter engine. It used to be that the lower level Soul had a 1.6-liter engine, sort of a real base engine. Not so the case with them anymore. They share the same engines, and it's actually the same engine in this vehicle as something like the Kia Seltos, the Kia Forte. So a lot of engine transmission shared in here. This is an IVT transmission, and you can switch between 8 different gear ratios in both vehicles. Again, when we talk about just differences, you do have a heated steering wheel now, and that's because this wheel is now the leather mounted wheel. So the leather wrapped wheel. So it's a leather wrap wheel instead of more the urethane wheel. And you can see your cruise control buttons down here. We talked about the automatic headlights in the past, so you can set them to automatic. These ones are LED. That's what's a big difference we're going to see outside. You also have your high beams, and you also have your fog lights here. And then when you use the high beam, instead of turning on your high beams in a well-lit area, it will say auto. So when it has auto before you go to your high beams, and you can turn it off again there. So we're going to have a Kia class on how they work very soon, actually. But you do gain the ability to have your headlights turn on and off automatically. And for a lot of people, that makes a lot of sense to just have some of those settings extra. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to beg for likes. We got about 50 people on right now. Let's see if we can get, well, we should be able to hit 50 likes before I take your questions. Let's see if we can go for 60 likes today. So we're going to go for 60 likes. I'm going to go take your questions right now if there are any, and then we're going to come back in here. We're going to take a look at some of those lighting differences because they may be another reason to jump up, and we're going to talk about why I recommend stretching for this vehicle over the other one. But if that doesn't make sense, we'll talk about why it makes sense to go with the other one as well. All right, jumping over to my question sheet here. Waiting for you guys to hit some likes. Oh, we didn't even point out one important feature that I should have talked about. Sunroof is in this car. So EX Plus has the sunroof. That is a feature that I really quite like. The one thing that's cool about the Kia Soul is the sunroof is, because the windshield doesn't have as much of a rake, maybe I'll just show you this way. A lot of cars, the windshield's kind of tilted down like that, and then they can't put the sunroof till like back here. So when you're sitting in the driver's seat, your sunroof isn't really above you. But you can see right there, it's well above the driver right here. So when you're sitting with your eyes there, you get the benefit of the light through the ceiling there, which is just a well-placed sunroof, and it makes it feel like a panoramic roof, even though the current generation Kia Soul does not have a panoramic roof anymore. All right, let's flip back around to me. We're about 4 likes away from 50. That's what we should try to be at while we're doing some questions here. I gotta wake up my computer here because we're having some network issues, so it's having trouble connecting the thing. Why is there no e-Soul in the States? It was slated to go to the United States, the electric Soul, but it did not end up going. I don't know if it was a worldwide availability thing. I'm not sure if Kia just made a decision. It was fully intended to go there, and then they just didn't bring it. So that's a good question, but I don't know why. Okay. Good morning from Arizona. Hello to some of you. Okay. Will it be showing the turbo? No. Purchase a Demo 21 Soul at faraway dealership. Oh, you're in Toronto. Can you make, yeah, of course you can make our dealership your local dealer. Okay, got some people asking for likes. Do any of the Kias have dash cams? They do not. That's something that I'd be interested to see, because now we're putting more and more cameras on these vehicles. It'd be interesting to see if they can convert them to dash cams so you can record some things. Okay, so why did they get rid of the panoramic roof? That's a good question. What they did is the previous generation Soul had a large panoramic roof, and it was a really wow factor kind of thing. My assumption is 2 things. 1, panoramic roofs weigh a lot. 2, this is a different body. This is an updated body. In 2020, it came out with a new body, and I'm wondering if there's some support panels across the roof that add to the safety of the car that maybe don't allow for a roof to go across. That's my guess. I could be wrong on that, but I'm not sure. All right, so we didn't see a ton of questions yet. A few comments in there. If you have questions, feel free to keep asking them. Hello from South Africa. Hello. Excuse me. But what we're going to do now is look at some of the differences. Yeah, we will get to Teddy, so Teddy will be in this video for sure. All right, so we're going to take a look at the lighting on these vehicles, and there's a couple reasons I think upgrading to this trim is well worth it, and the one reason is lighting, and I think it's just easy to show you the exact reasons why here. Camera doesn't show perfectly what I want to show, but I think you'll get a sense of what I'm trying to say. All right. First of all, you can right away see yellow versus white. Now that looks a yellowy, greeny kind of color. That is a bright white, where that is a almost as bright white in real life. The camera, for whatever reason, does not pick it up perfectly. And then down here you can see sort of that more amber yellowy light, and that's just because they are halogen lights. Nothing wrong with them. We've used them for years on cars, but there is an improvement. So one thing you're going to notice, a lot of Kia Souls, almost every one, this little silver panel is actually an LED light on a lot of trim levels. On this one, it's not. Your daytime running light is up there, and your headlight is down here. And you can see that lack of a sharp cutoff. Certainly a lot of brightness in there, but not really a sharp cutoff, and your signal light's up here. Nothing wrong with that. It works perfectly fine. It is a more economical way to make a headlight, but you can see the difference. Fairly sharp cutoff. So the Kia does a really good job with the reflector in there and make a nice sharp cutoff, but definitely a difference. Coming over to here, they look a little higher, and they actually are. They're higher on the car because if you go the vehicle in between these two, so in between this one and that one, you have the round projector style lights that are in here. They have a little bit more focus to light. Again, a little bit more brightness in the center, a little more sharp cutoff. But then when you move up to the LED lights right here, you still have this little dip down there that is a little hard to see, but that is a lit LED daytime running light. And then you come down here and you get the wow factor. Blazingly bright LED headlights. And then of course down here as well, nice and bright LED fog lights down there. I highly recommend, if you can, to stretch to something with LED lights. And really the difference is here. That yellow light at night, it's harder for your brain to tell what you're seeing compared to these white lights. And again, I know they don't look white on camera, it's just the way the camera interacts with these. But you have so much more light on the road, and the color of this light is a more natural color in daylight, and that really allows you to see what you're seeing and your brain to pick out. It just makes driving a lot less stressful at night because you can really see things. There's also some styling differences, like we mentioned, signal lights in the mirrors. We'll turn them on in a little bit here. But there are some styling differences here with the rear lights, which look pretty cool, in my opinion. So you have these cool little LED kind of outlines. The brake light is actually in the middle there, in the middle there, and in the middle here. But that is a nice LED look. And if you get the lower trim line, you step away from the LEDs and have just kind of the normal filled in brake lights right there. So styling wise, to me, this one looks pretty cool when you see it at night. And they also, of course, are that instant on, instant bright light that you have on there. So why would you want to stretch? Let's talk about stretching. Basically, the difference between these two models, give or take, is about $15 per week in a monthly payment over, I think it was 84 months, I don't remember exactly, but at $15 per week. It's not nothing, but for some people, it's not that much more. And if you can afford either one, sometimes people sit there and say, oh, I don't want any more car than I need. I just need the very basics. And what happens is the people who enjoy their cars have some of the features in here. People who want to keep their car for a long, long time. Something like cruise control makes a big difference. The high beams and the high beam assist. So again, the high beams on this car, you can set them to automatically turn on and off as they see traffic, and it'll get brighter, and it says no traffic. It's, you know, they turn off. They're as smart as you, probably smarter. So they're really kind of a nice feature. The rear cross traffic alert and the blind spot detection is a really nice safety feature that allows you to see things that you can't normally see with just your eyes, and does make it safer. The other thing is the forward collision avoidance assist. I was riding with one of our fellow coworkers in a vehicle, and we heard squealing tires and didn't know where it was from, and it was the person behind us, and they had a forward collision avoidance assist where the car braked for them. Their hands were completely off the wheel. They looked completely shocked, but the car had just braked and stopped as we looked in the mirror. And that was a collision that could have been very serious for a number of people, but the vehicle itself avoided the collision. So that is a nice safety feature. And if you're going to move to a new vehicle, the difference between this and that may not be a whole lot for someone looking to upgrade into, that's a little bit safer. And that lane keeping assist, the ability to, when you're as a driver looking down at your screen, your car sometimes can drift out of the lane. Well, in those moments, the car will actually capably steer itself centered in the lane or mostly centered in the lane, and that can be a really big safety feature again. So when you're buying a new vehicle, even resale value, having some of those modern features, it's always a stretch to go to a new vehicle anyways. And I'm not saying in any way get the vehicle that's not affordable for you. If this one's affordable and that's what makes sense for you, then do that. But if they're both kind of affordable and you're thinking of saving some money, this is going to have one that's going to, I think, really enhance your ownership experience with some of those safety and convenience features. So it's totally up to you guys, but that's sort of my opinion. All right, so I'm gonna go back, take your questions really quickly. We're gonna go trunk space. I wanna show you some of the trunk things. We'll show you rear seat space as well. Kia Soul has one of the best rear seats in all small cars, small crossovers, so we'll show you that, so stay tuned for that. And of course, at the 30-minute mark, we'll be done. We can go off topic or we can answer your questions, so there we go. Which is the Soul EX? So that's a good question. This is an LX. Oops, I just walked into a cabinet. This is an LX. That is an EX Plus. So there's a one in between these two. That's the EX. This one I like because it has the sunroof as well. I'm a huge fan of sunroofs, and again, in the Kia Soul, the sunroof is positioned really well, so you actually get the benefit of it. Is double color option available in the USA? I don't think so. The Kia Seltos in the USA has a ability to have the different color roof, but not on the Kia Soul that I'm aware of. Okay, more information on the Sorento PHEV. We'll talk about that about the half-an-hour mark once we go a little off topic, but let's just cover this one for a second. The Soul EV is a very nice vehicle for anyone wanting an all-electric vehicle. 100%. I own a Kia Soul EV. Very much a different class of vehicle than the gasoline Soul. Also a different price point. So we will talk about that again some more. Excuse me, guys. I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat. I was not great last week. I feel great this week, but when I speak for half an hour, my throat is a little funny. Okay. Well, I should have said, will you be showing the turbo in the future? Maybe, if they come. We are planning on going to the LA Auto Show, so hopefully we can get some video there. And there we go. All right, I think it is the best Soul ever. There we go. Okay, I think there's not a lot of questions in there, so I'm just gonna keep throwing you through. And again, if you're not live with us and you have a question, just ask me in the comments below. We can do these. We're not a regular review channel where we do these, like, do the Kia Soul once and we never see it again. We can pull these in, you know, daily, every week, whatever you want. Is there a way to email me privately? Yes. When this video is done, or any of the other live videos that are done, I put a link in the description where you can connect with me. So if you want to check any one of our other live videos, there is a link there so you can email me that way as well. All right. Jumping in, let's just do the back seat first. Same thing in both cars. Actually, let's just make sure it is the same in both cars. I think there actually is a difference. Yep, there is. So we'll talk about that right now. First of all, Kia Soul, very wide opening doors. I'm 6 feet tall. I barely have to duck my head at all to get in here. And for a tiny little car, it's not a big car, massive headroom. My legs are flush on the seat. I've got tons of room, and I'm sitting behind myself, and just tons and tons of leg room. So if you are a college student and you have other college student-sized people, or if you are an adult and you take adults around, Kia Soul is phenomenal. One thing you're not getting here is no armrest, and of course, in this particular model, you don't have any ports or vents, but you do have passenger side little pocket there. Plastic back seats I'm a big fan of because they can just be wiped clean, and you have plastic back seats on the front two seats. So not a whole lot. Power windows, of course. I don't know if I pointed that out. Power windows and locks, all part of the standard equipment. Now let's jump in this one just to make sure there's no difference here. I know that there is one difference, and I think you'll appreciate it. The armrest. The armrest with the cup holders right there. There's also a USB port down there. So space is the same. But of course, moving up the trim lines, having the armrest, having the cup holders is kind of a nice feature there. There's still bottle holders in the door here as well. Now, we're gonna go to the trunk space. I have a trunk measurement tool. We were going for initially for 60 likes. We got 62 people on. 3 of you right now are holding out. So when we have 62 people on, you guys should know that most people don't stay on the whole video when we're live. They've got lives and they do things. So just keep in mind, we'll have several hundred people on. Got to 60 likes. But yeah, feel free to make it 70, 80, whatever you guys want. All right, Kia Soul trunk space. Big advantage to this car is a big square opening. You wanna go buy a new dishwasher from Lowe's or Home Depot, you just go get it. You fold the seats down and you've got tons of space. What I like here is the floor is sort of a 2-level floor. So you've got tie downs here. Both cars are gonna have this little grocery bag hook over there. So if you're going to get your apples or oranges, you can put your grocery bag there. They don't roll around for you over there. And over here you have a 12 volts plug and a light there. So again, it doesn't look huge in this car, but you also have underneath here some space that you can take advantage of. There's a spare tire in both the cars, but I want to show you the other vehicle just so we can see side by side before we use our teddy bear measurement tool. This one is the exact same, but you can see the floor is lowered, and you can very easily raise and lower the floor. So you grab this little tab back here, you pull it up, you flip it up like this, and there's your floor in the higher position, and then you can drop it down to the lower position as well. The Kia Soul especially drops a long ways, and I think that's a real advantage to this car, and I'll show you why. We're gonna take Teddy Bear over here. Teddy Bear is my trunk measurement tool. Those of you who are wondering why I have a Teddy Bear here, I always figure if I fill your screen with a trunk, you really have no idea of how big it is compared to something in one of my other videos. So now that we have Teddy Bear, you can see Teddy Bear is massive, but he kind of feels a little bit, squished in here. He's just a little bit, he's kind of edge to edge in there, and he's up to basically the bottom of the headrest there. He's up to the top of the seat for his belly. Now watch the difference in the lowered floor, which again, we could do the same thing with that vehicle here. As we lower the floor and drop him in here, you now find that because the seat is on an angle, right? So the seat isn't fully square, it's on an angle. By lowering the floor, you also create more floor space going that way, which gives Teddy a little bit more room for his tummy, and he actually, instead of hanging out a tiny bit, has a little bit of space in here where he's not, hanging out. And of course, his belly, which was at the top of the right there, is now lower. So again, having that lowering floor in this car actually makes this trunk go from just kind of an average trunk, which I think is fine, to a quite large trunk. And the reason you may want it up is, like I said, if you're loading those larger things in, like you went to buy a dishwasher, in this position, you can fold down the seats and you have a level load floor across to the seats. Whereas in this lowered position here, if you were to lower the seats over here, there's a little bit of a step up between that and the lowered seats there. So that's kind of the advantage or disadvantage of the seats. All right, so we're gonna take Teddy back out, put him on his little perch, and what we'll do is we'll shut the trunks here. And if you have questions, now is your chance to ask. If it's on topic, I'll answer those first. If it's off topic, we'll stay on for a few minutes to answer those as well. And of course, like I said, we're not just a review channel. If you want to subscribe to this, if you're interested in some of these vehicles, hit the subscribe button. If you hit the like button, people who are like you, who have interests like you, more of them will see it. And the more people that watch these videos, the more that we'll do videos on this kind of a topic. So let's just come back to my computer here, and we'll go through some of your questions. It does take a second for them to come in, so don't worry, I'll get them. Just got an EX Plus last week, white, enjoying it, and you're 6'4". If you are a large person who doesn't need a large car, the Soul is great. Here's the other side benefit of the Soul. The seating position in this car is different than anything else I've ever driven. For me as a 6-footer, and I found for a lot of people shorter and taller as well, it's a very, very comfortable seating position. So it's something to keep in mind. Somebody says they're still in love with their 2020 Kia Soul EV, which happens to be what I drive. Miles per gallon, that's a good question. Let's look at fuel mileage in a second. But the seating position is very different, and people like myself find it to be very, very comfortable. You kind of sit square like a kitchen chair, where your legs, if this is your knees here, my 2 points of the finger, instead of a lot of cars where you're stretched out like this, you can sit a little bit more square, and that makes it much more comfortable. So there we go. Do you think Kia will make a PHEV Soul? I don't. The big question mark surrounding the Soul is I expect it to be back as a 2023 model. I don't know how much longer the Soul has to live. Will there be a next generation? Will there be another thing? Will the next Soul be EV only, which is, I think, entirely possible as they move towards EVs. Right now, what they're going to do with the Soul in the future, I have no idea. I do expect 2022 obviously just came out, 2023 model I expect, but beyond that, I have no idea. Would I rather a Sportage or a Soul for a tall person? Personally, I think the Soul. The Sportage is a little bit larger vehicle. It does have all-wheel drive. There are definitely advantages to that. But we're talking the current model Sportage. There is a brand new Sportage coming out early in 2022 as a 2023 model. So depending on when you're watching this, if you're not live with us, I may have a different answer. But currently today, I think the Soul. And I would say try them both. It may be different for you, but there we go. All right, somebody said they managed 500 kilometers on a single charge. Yeah, the EV Soul, we've seen people stretch out to over 500 kilometers on that car. That's not super unusual. Certainly in the upper 400s, 450, 475, 480, that's entirely possible. Okay, wife wants a Soul, but I am disappointed not all-wheel drive. Get some snow tires. You got just as good grip, cornering, braking, and that's an option. I do like the Soul. I know that the Seltos is a all-wheel drive sort of option for you in the Kia lineup with Soul type options. Soul's pretty cool as well. You can do either one. Sorry, I missed half the video. When do you think you could get the 2022 Kia K5 GT? It's going to be a while. There are some K5s on order. You guys all understand right now that everywhere you drive, the dealer lots are pretty much empty or much more empty than usual. I know we're getting more K5s in, but the GT is not on our next order. Things are tight right now with inventory. So many of you who are ordering cars right now, you can absolutely get them, but you are ordering them. You're factory ordering them. There are things in lot. I have a few souls in lot. You could leave with some of these today, but just keep in mind that that's different. The supercar is the Kia e-Soul. It really is a supercar. Yeah, the Soul EV, as we call it. You guys are talking about range on an EV Soul. What about waiting for the Carnival? Thanks. Carnival is hard to predict right now. Short answer is a lot of people are going to give you numbers of, oh, it's 3 months, 6 months, whatever many months. I don't know. And the truth is, anybody who's telling you something right now, they don't know either. Right now, Kia Canada is filling the sold orders first. Kia dealers can't technically order at this moment a Kia Carnival. They're filling in. Very soon, we should be able to order those again. And then we'll be able to give you accurate timelines. Anybody who says, if they say they can get you a Carnival in 6 weeks and somebody else says 6 months, they're both guessing. Neither one knows unless they give you a VIN number. If they give you a VIN number, then you can track that car and you have the truth from them. So, okay. Okay, what else have we got in here? In the current market, how much over sticker should you expect to pay for a 2020 Kia Soul? 0. You should never pay over MSRP, in my mind. We don't charge that over MSRP. You might have to order it. You might have to wait a little bit. Sometimes wait times can vary. But I don't think people should be paying over MSRP. That's I have a strong feeling about that, and maybe times will change. Like, I don't know, maybe that's the way dealers will move. But as of up until this point, there's been no reason to do that. So there we go. Some good questions in here, guys. Okay, amazing. Somebody says this has an amazing amount of room for shopping. Yeah, good space in the back. Hello from Scotland. Okay. Is there a waiting time for the Carnival or Soul? I think we covered that. All right, if there's a question I missed, go ahead and ask it again, and I'll try to cover some of the ones I want. 21 Kia Soul Turbo that I got for, oh, okay, cool. So Kia Soul Turbo, like I mentioned, we don't have that in Canada. Kia Soul EV, you guys are mentioning that a lot. Maybe we should pull that back in here. Obviously, you guys know I drive a Kia Soul EV. We do have a Niro PHEV and Niro EV incoming, so we'll have those on soon. And of course, Ioniq 5. Kia EV6, all of those are coming as well. Somebody's asking me if I got a Santa Cruz. I did not get a Santa Cruz, and yeah, we'll talk about that later as well. What's going on with Santa Cruzes and what I think about them. We'll do that soon, actually. Okay, I think we're gonna leave it there, guys. It's been fun. Back tomorrow, Santa Fe PHEV. So that is a a mid-size SUV that I can drive quite comfortably in the 3 liters per 100 kilometers type range. So that is a pretty good vehicle like that. So we're going to compare that because we've driven the Sorento PHEV, which came out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We've done a few videos on that. So tomorrow, Santa Fe PHEV. We won't do a comparison tomorrow side by side, even though that's probably a vehicle we could do a comparison side by side. We don't often do comparisons between brands. But tomorrow we're going to give the Santa Fe the attention it deserves and talk about that. So feel free to tune in then. And if you have any other questions, make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, you guys don't know how YouTube works. So thanks everybody for watching. We will see you again live tomorrow.